Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 214. Podnutz Daily is a podcast about computer repair. Computer repair stories, in fact, from computer repair technicians from around the world. And if you listen to last week's episode, 213, Door-to-Door Geek joined us, and he went over what he called phase one of his computer repair regimen, I guess you could say. And we kind of filled up the time, so we split it up into two parts, and he's going to go over the other phases of the computer repair regimen. Isn't that right, Steve, or were you just going to continue on phase one?
It is still phase one. I literally only got about half of the tools dimension because I'm one of those guys, kind of ADD, OCD, overkill with my tools, because I want to try to make sure to the best of my ability that the problems aren't only fixed, but the computer's actually primed. You know, everything that could be wrong is fixed, and I take it a little overboard.
Oh, that's good. Well, then we'll just go over whatever you have there. Well, first of all, how are you doing today?
I'm actually doing pretty good. Today was a holiday, so I didn't have to go to work. So I basically just prepped, took care of the baby today, fed him plenty of stuff.
Waffles. And,
yeah, of course, waffles. I mean, come on. They're just so convenient. And I just prepped for the show then a little bit.
Good. Well, I'm glad you took all day to prepare.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get started then? Why don't you, do you remember where you left off from phase one last week?
Yeah, the category I ended off with was the batch uninstallers / cleaners. And I don't know if I mentioned Java Raw, but that is another good tool by the guys that do Pure Raw.
Yeah, I think we did do Java Raw.
Gotcha. And the other tool that I did not have in my list that honestly in the last week I've had to use 3 times is a Microsoft tool called Windows Installer Cleanup Utility.
Oh, I used to use that one a lot.
Yeah, it's the kind of tool that I forgot about for some reason. And then the last week, I literally needed it like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, what
did you use it for?
Basically, every time, well, twice it was .NET 1.1 issues, and the other time it was MS XML parser issue where I could not uninstall, I could not upgrade, and there was a security patch that was failing on it.
Okay.
So I basically just downloaded the tool, put it on the computer, removed the .NET 1.1 entry from add and remove programs, and then I just ran my updates and everything worked fine.
Gotcha. Do you use that instead of Revo Uninstaller in some cases, and why do you?
Well, Revo Uninstaller I do not believe has, honestly, it might have, but I'm one of those guys. I look at a tool, I use it for what it's billed as, and if it has any deeper features, I never take the time to figure it out. So Revo could have this feature, but I know the Microsoft tool is specifically designed to do this. And one of the things that you're going to find, even though I really have a chip on my shoulder about certain Microsoft, I'd say, tactics about what they do,
right,
when they come out with the tool that does a given task well, I really try to stick with that because I feel like they should do it better. They should have a better understanding.
Yeah, I'm like you with tools. I think I'm exactly like you with tools. If that's the way you handle them, I use. You know when I usually end up using a tool is when I do enough research online to find out how to solve a problem, and they all say use this tool, then I'll use that tool, and I'll just remember that I used that tool for that. And then if somebody for something else says use Revo Uninstall for this, I'll use Revo Uninstall for that. When Revo could work for the first tool or for the first problem you're having, but it's just more tools in the toolbox.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the things. My plethora of tools. Some of the tools overlap. Some of them kind of duplicate function, and in like Pure Raw, Stephen Gould's cleanup and C Cleaner, going by what they say they do, it's a triplication of apps when they actually do stuff a little differently.
All right, I see what you're saying.
So yeah, I'm with you. The more apps you have, the better off you are.
Yeah. All right, cool.
One app, quote unquote app, I wanted to mention in the cleanup tools, which of course I forgot again, was System Restore.
Uh-huh.
I consider that a cleanup tool just to give me a better work environment.
So do I.
And it's one of those things. It isn't my, put it this way, I don't do it on every computer, but when I run, either I can't run my tools, or when I had a computer yesterday in Ohio actually, and it had Vundu on it. I didn't know it was Vundu. I ran Microsoft Security Essentials. It said it found something. It needed to reboot. I rebooted. It said it found the same thing again. It needed to reboot. It rebooted. Finally, I looked at what it said it's found, did a little research, and it was Vundu. So what it did was I did a system restore like 3 weeks earlier. And then I was able to actually run Security Essentials with a full scan, and it did actually get rid of it.
So the system restore got back to before the Vundu installed itself.
Well, yeah, it just took it a little bit out of the loop.
Yeah, that's why I use it. And you know what? I didn't use it on every computer before either. You start to get, I don't know, man. You start to do a lot of things with your tools by gut. After you have enough experience with it, you just get a feel for what the computer's doing. I really can't explain it. The more computers you do, you start to realize you just get this feel, and you can't just go down a normal checklist on every computer because they're all a little different. And you start to get this feel of what's going on with the machine, and you start to think like the machine, like, okay, I got to do this. I just feel like this is the right thing to do. And a lot of times when you get good enough, that gut feeling is correct. And I guess you could explain it, technically and scientifically what's going on there. But, it's just when you're familiar enough with your tools and your experience of what they fix, you can just use different tools for different things just on a feeling rather than, okay, I have to do this step on my checklist. This is always the first thing I do no matter what, because there's so many different problems.
Yeah, like as soon as I connected to the computer, I went to google.com. And when I went to google.com, I got a completely red screen with text on it that said, this site is harmful, but you could tell it wasn't real. It was not a real, OpenDNS blocker or Firefox blocker or anything like that. So as soon as I saw that, I just instinctively said, Smith's fraud fix.